This week on Real Estate Secrets, we take an inside look at a spectacular project on the big island of Hawaii. And in the second half of the show, can the interior of British Columbia really be the next big vacation hotspot? This new resort in Osoyoos is the real thing. Hello, I'm Vince Taylor and welcome to Real Estate Secrets. So what does it feel like to be on the inside when it comes to buying real estate? Wouldn't it be great to see the good deals before everyone else? And exactly what does a good deal look like? Everyone wants to own a home, and in fact, in North America, the ideal is to own 2 or even 3 homes. But with so many choices, so many prices, and so many locations to choose from, it seems almost impossible to know what's best. The idea of this show is to take you inside and behind the scenes, to let you see how real estate professionals actually make buying decisions. We'll also show you some examples of exactly what we buy and why. So coming up, we are going to examine a community in the #1 most popular location on the whole planet, Hawaii. This unique market is unlike any other, but before you jump in, make sure you do your homework. And Hawaii North, why the little town of Osoyoos, British Columbia, has finally taken its rightful place as the best resort community in Canada. If you don't know about Osoyoos by now, you'd better find out quickly, or you will miss out. Welcome back to Real Estate Secrets. I'm Vince Taylor. And in studio with me today, Bill Morrison from Pilot House Real Estate. Pilot House is a company that markets and sells new home communities around North America, and I'm glad to have you here today. Thanks. I should take a moment to say I'm also from Pilot House Real Estate, which may seem kind of strange, but the two of us talked about this, and the inspiration for this show is really what we actually go through when we examine a new home project. So it only made sense that we would both be here for the first show. You're the expert, but really that's what this show is all about. So let me start right at the beginning. We talk about marketing and sales, but what exactly does that mean when it comes to a new home community?
Well, it's a good question. Marketing is strictly the presentation of the product to the market. How do we set it out there? How do we position the homes? Which medias do we
You mean radio, television?
Exactly. Do we go into television? Do we go into radio? How do we present the product out to the public? How does the public first find out about it? And the sales end of things really is the sharp end of the stick. And that is where once you've completed your due diligence, once you've gone through the process and you've made your decision to buy a specific home at a specific area in a specific location in a new home community, you've done your process, you've gone through your decision, you're working with a licensed agent, possibly one from our company or another one.
See, okay.
And you can put the whole process together and finally purchase that home. That's the sales end of it.
Okay, so they're quite distinct. Marketing and sales are quite distinct.
Absolutely. And to start off with, the real question is, which homes, which communities represent the best value?
Okay. So when somebody phones in and says, we'd like you to represent our community, how would you react to that?
Well, first of all, we're going to go through the same process, the same due diligence that a buyer would. And that's really the true secret of this.
Okay.
We've already gone through this process prior to the buyer actually coming into the community. We've done the due diligence. We've spent months and months of research looking at absolutely every aspect of this community. It really has to make sense to us. We have to believe in the product. It has to make sense to us. And as a matter of fact, we put ourselves first. We have to want to be the buyer in these new home communities.
Well, we often talk about, you open up the Vancouver Sun or the Seattle Times, there's 60 pages of new homes. There's so many choices. Everyone looks fantastic. How could an amateur possibly have any chance? If I gave you $1 million and said, pick the best one out there, where would you even start?
$1 million?
$1 million.
Well, honestly, you start by talking to us because we go through this process. Our phone rings off the hook. The developments that come our way, some of them are good, some of them are bad, and some of them are ugly. Our goal is to always, at the end of the day, have a product and a home, a new home community that we could sell to our friends and our family and our insiders as well. So we look at absolutely every project. Matter of fact, we turn down probably 3 different developments for every one that we actually get involved with.
Well, okay, this makes sense to us because we're in this business. But for somebody that does works for a car dealership, is a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse or a school teacher,
someone has an expertise in another field.
area.
Sure.
So they're listening to us talk. They're going to say, well, why in the world would experts share their secrets? What would be in it for us to tell everybody what we go through? I mean, isn't that the whole big secret of what we do and how we can do it better than everyone else? Didn't I say at the beginning you want to buy better than everybody else and be on the inside?
Well, we have that's a great point. We have a group of investors and insiders that follow us from project to project to project. It's not unusual for one of our buyers to buy at all of our developments the same as we do. Again, going back to the initial point, which is we go through the due diligence process. We make sure before we list a new home community that this fits with all of our criteria. It actually has to fit within us or with us as actual buyers.
Okay, so you talked about criteria, we talked about secrets. Can you distill it down? If you had 1 minute to tell everybody the secret to say, let's say, recreational property, what would be your key criteria, things you must look for each and every time?
It's a $1 million question. I get 1 minute to answer.
You get $1 million and you get 1 second to answer. All right, let's do it.
Well, criteria may change slightly, but there's always pillars to this criteria.
Right. Pillar number one.
Pillar number one would be, well, let's look at recreational property for a moment.
Let's do that.
Recreational property has 3 pillars: lifestyle, capital appreciation, which is your future value, and rentability, which is the third cousin that no one talks about.
Right.
But we always concern ourselves with rentability as well at the very end. So number one, lifestyle. Does this home make sense to you? Would you buy this home? Do you love the location? If you don't love it, don't buy it, because when you go to sell it, the people that are looking at this, your future buyers, if they aren't going to love it, they're not going to buy it. So love your location. Buy A+, the best location that you can afford, but make sure you love it. Number 2, of course, is capital appreciation.
Okay, what does that mean?
Capital appreciation is, what is the future value? You do your best. What is the absolute future value that you believe will become of this particular product? Okay. And then finally, of course, is rentability. And is there a potential for you to rent this product out?
Okay, so we have a clip of a project that we believe fits the criteria of all of those 3. And I guess this would be as good a time as any to go have a look at it. We've examined this project carefully. We've looked at all the criteria. And of course, the real secret is I didn't believe in this project at first.
Absolutely.
We had a lot of debate over this.
A little bit.
And as it turns out, here you'll see me in the clip. I guess I've changed my ways. Well, why don't we go have a look?